Thank you, Adeni Taiwo, for that background report. And we already have our guests seated in the studio to discuss the one-year anniversary of the Renew Hope agenda. Let me first introduce the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media Office of the First Lady, Busola Kukoyi. You're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Also, we have Honorable Wahab Alawiye Kings, also Senior Special Assistant to the President on Policy and Strategy Office of the First Lady. Honorable, you're welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. We also have with us Mariam Obadino, and she's the SSA to the President on Legal Matters Office of the First Lady. She also joins us live right here in the studio. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
All right. Okay. Let me start with the honorable. And we know that it's 1 year that the initiative, kicked off, and it has affected, it has impacted, especially the youths and the women across the country. So, what would you say inspired this New Hope initiative, and how does it align, with the federal government's agenda?
Thank you very much. As we all know that the Office of First Lady is a complementary and supportive office. And as such, the occupier of the office must have something to bring on board. That has inspired the First Lady to come up with this program. Renew Hope Initiative is designed as a social safety net policy, to assist and support the federal government in the Renew Hope agenda. And that is exactly what the First Lady has done. We have 5 thematic areas, spanning from education, agriculture, health, social investment, and economic empowerment. For the purpose of this discussion, let me concentrate on education and economic empowerment. My colleague will dwell on other areas of the initiative. We hit the ground running. Immediately we registered the initiative. That was in August last year, 9th of August to be precise. And the first thing we did, we realized that education is very important. It is a critical tool to be used to change the world. Also, we realized that one important aspect, a component of any society is the family. That is why we made our goal, towards improving the lives of families. And that is what we have done. With education, we have 4 focal areas. It has to do with scholarship and bursary award, girl child education. It has to do with adult literacy and out of school and not in school children. And that is where the alternative high school comes in. Let me start with the scholarship. We started with the National Scholarship Program. We provided about 37, scholarship to indigent students across Nigeria. We also included stakeholders like the organization of the military and the police, and also National Council for Women's Society, making a total of 43 students across Nigeria benefiting from this scholarship. 1 million for a period of 4 years, 1 million annually for a period of 4 years, with a brand new laptop just to support what they are doing. In addition, some students of Federal University Castina were released, and they were brought to the First Lady. And then the First Lady promised them to include them as part of that scholarship. As we speak, 47 students are benefiting from this scholarship. Okay. You understand? The second tranche of that scholarship has just been released. The grant has just been released to them. Aside from that, we believe in collaboration and partnership. That is why we collaborated with the government of Belarus to also benefit from this international scholarship. We have provided 20 scholarships in the area of medicine, agriculture, and ICT to indigent students, in Nigeria, 20 of them. They have gone through the education requirement. They are in the process of going to Belarus to continue their education. That has to do with scholarship. Also, in the area of scholarship, we collaborated with Ahuda Nepad in partnership with the African School of Economics, which is an affiliation of Princeton University in the United States of America. Okay. And over 200 students also benefited from this scholarship. These are some of the areas we have done with scholarship. In the area of bursary award, the Federal Ministry of Education also provided us with 5,000, education-related courses, bursary award, to students in Nigerian university and colleges of education. Also, in collaboration with TED Fund, we have also identified 6 areas, 6 institutions in Nigeria to benefit from what is called as ICT Experience Center. And the idea behind that is to have a structured technological education and opportunity for our students to also, be ready for this technological revolution. So with that, we have provided, 6 institutions in Nigeria that would benefit from this ICT experience. Also, in collaboration with TED Fund, we have also, we believe that conducive environment for learning and teaching is very important for us to survive as a nation. So that is why we also collaborated with TED Fund to provide infrastructural renewal in some of our institutions. And also in the area of education, we have also collaborated with UBEC to ensure the alternative high school program. That has to do with the out of school and not in school children, particularly women who are not in school or who drop out of school because of socioeconomic and cultural, hindrances. What we have done is to create what was done about 17 years ago when the first lady was the first lady of Lagos back then. When it was she created, the alternative high school in Lagos, somewhere in Abuja area of Amuwodo in local government. The school is still standing up till today. Okay. As a matter of fact, we have seen, those who benefited from that program who has gone back to be teachers at that school. These are some of the things we have done with education to ensure that education has a critical role, as a critical tool in promoting and enhancing national development. We must continue to do that. That is the area of scholarship and education.
I think maybe we should allow you to take a breather, okay, before you roll out all that we have, so that we can also get some other perspectives about the birth of this initiative. And Demola asked what inspired the first lady, and I also like to hear your own perspective. What do you think was the inspiration, the motivation for this?
Thank you very much. I think the First Lady, as we know her, she's a former legislator. She understands the need, a former First Lady of a state, a former legislator. She understands the needs and yearnings of the people. She's been someone that has always been in connection with the people. She's a philanthropist, and she's an educator. She's a mother, and now she's the mother of the nation. Definitely, we expect her to bring a lot on board. And that's why this is no surprise to many who know her, for her to come up. And she likes to work within structures. She came on board, she sat with her team, and the Governing Council created the Renewed Hope Initiative to roll out programs that would benefit Nigerians. The goal of the Renewed Hope Initiative is to contribute to the economic development of Nigeria. And we know women are critical drivers of the economy. If you look at productivity, stability, and growth, you cannot push away women. And that's what she sought to do with the Renewed Hope Initiative. And for example, I'll take agriculture. When the president came on board, he declared a state of emergency on agriculture and food security. At the Renewed Hope Initiative, we decided to complement this effort. The First Lady, we have a pillar that is agriculture. And okay, what better way to get to the grassroots, to connect to the grassroots, to get many women on board? She started the Every Home a Garden competition. And what did this competition seek to do? It sought to encourage first-time women farmers. You know how farming is. We think, oh, you need an expanse of land to grow something. But she came up with a brilliant idea to say, this is how it can be done differently. How can we look at unconventional methods to drive home food security? And she started this competition, encouraging women to participate and show us example of how they can grow their crops just at the back of their garden in a small space, sack gardening, bucket gardening. And we've seen a lot of videos online, how this has inspired many, many more women to grow food and share with their neighbors, share with their friends and their families. The competition was launched earlier in the year to give room for the crop season, for the rainy season. The competition has closed now. Entries have been sent to the office of the various state first ladies of their respective states, who also double as RHI state coordinators. And one brilliant thing about RHI is that it doesn't just sit in Abuja. RHI gets to the grassroots. It connects all the states of the Federation and the FCT to ensure that everything that is being done gets to the people, and the people get to appreciate the efforts of the government and see how they as well can be drivers of the economy. So the competition closed in September. We received a lot of entries and they're currently being reviewed. So it will be exciting to see the winner in December smiling home with 20 million naira.
Honestly.
Yes, yes, it will be very, very exciting.
And
so
you took it out from my mouth because
Okay.
I was going to keep that every home a garden, you know, especially because it's something that I'm witnessing,
Right.
you know. So
Are you also taking part in it?
no,
You're a
no.
woman.
Unfortunately, I am not. But I'm seeing the impact,
Yeah.
and we will talk deeper about that because
okay.
yes,
All right.
I know you want to bring in
let's
Busola
bring
into our
in
conversation.
Busola Kukoye. Busola, it's good to see you after a very long time.
Thank you, Demola.
Well, so well, let's hear your own view about this Renew Hope initiative of the First Lady. What inspired it, and how does it align with the federal government's agenda? Let's have your view.
The Renewed Hope initiative, as birthed by the First Lady, is something that is complementary of what the federal government is doing, as has been stated earlier. With the 5 focal areas, it tends to key into government's policies and visions. And that's what she has been doing ever since its inception in August. So I want to look at the area of health, for instance. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation, knowing that our population, made up of predominantly youth, needs to be healthy. So one of the first things she did was to join her voice with that of the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare in ensuring that the human papillomavirus vaccination, the HPV vaccination, is also added to the national routine vaccination. Okay. Now, she lent her voice to it and also ensure that shall I say, fear by the ordinary man that this vaccination could be harmful was actually dispelled. We had at that launch of the vaccination into the national routine immunization policy, where the Honorable Minister for Health and Social Welfare came out, that even his daughters have taken the vaccination, so breaking the myth. Now, that will go a long way in keeping our female young ones quite healthy and away from the cervical cancer scourge. Now, she also is the global and national Stop TB champion, an honor that was done her by Stop TB Geneva not too long ago. Now, what does that entail? She has taken the campaign for the end of TB, even before 2030, as designated by Stop TB Geneva, to the nooks and cranny of Nigeria. She also saw that state first ladies, just like Mrs. Obadino said, are brought in. You know, RHI does not sit in Abuja. It goes to the grassroots. It goes to the remotest part of the country. So the state first ladies are involved in this. They are their state champions, driving the course of stopping TB in their various states. Their local governments are also involved. So it is not just about Abuja. Now, when she became the global and national Stop TB champion, she committed through the Renewed Hope Initiative 1 billion naira to the cause. What's that 1 billion naira for? To procure equipment, to procure medications, and get the facilities that will test and ensure the treatment of these TB scourge. Nigeria, by the way, has the highest burden of the disease. Quite unfortunate, and that's why she's very passionate about it. So going away from there, we also, in the area of health, know that Nigeria is one of the countries that has the highest burden of mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS. And on the platform of the Organization of African First Ladies for Development, OFLAD, they started this campaign, #FreeToShine. And very shortly, she will be launching that campaign, which will try to stem the tide of mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS, one thing that she's very passionate about. So all of this are some of the things that she's doing in the health sector. Now, if we go to social investment, which is for the ordinary man, outside of health, education, agriculture, she reaches out to the communities, the vulnerable, the less privileged. Case in study, Nana Berry Orphanage. That orphanage is one that, in your opening report, we saw some of the children singing. Those children have a new lease of life now. And through the RHI, they are getting a new facility partnering with the office of the SDG. They are getting a new orphanage, a conducive one, that they will live like every other child. They are, of course, periodically she reaches out to them, and this has given them a sense of belonging in the society. Now, we also have this initiative through the RHI, which is the Food Truck Initiative, where various food items are taken to various states. Truckloads of food items are taken to various states. About 6 states have already benefited from this. We have more states in the offing. Now, it's a company, one of the companies in the country that said, I'm keen into what Renewed Hope Initiative is doing, and they have done that for us. Now, we also have another company coming up to support that. So we now have not just 1 food truck, but 2 food trucks. And very soon, Kwara will get its own. We had Ekiti, Benue, FCT, Kano, Cross River, Nasarawa. They've already received theirs. Very shortly, Kwara will be getting its own. So it's like just have a
yes,
good life.
No doubt, the initiative is doing a lot. It's doing a lot, you know, to impact lives positively. But I know that there's no way that you can reach out to everyone, especially the vulnerable. But the fear or what people are saying actually is that we don't really see these things. We just hear them on television. Probably we read in the newspapers and all that. But the people on the street, how do you really get to them? Do you get in touch with the influencers? When I talk about influencers, I'm talking about the traditional rulers. I'm talking about probably the religious leaders. I'm talking about, you know, all these, you know, key leaders that can actually reach out to these vulnerable people. Do you collaborate with them? Do you carry them along in these programs to ensure that all these social, you know, initiatives and all that really gets to the people that are intended for?
Indeed. The Renewed Hope Initiative, just like my colleague said, does not just sit pretty in Abuja. We move to the nooks and crannies. We have traditional rulers that are friends of RHI, and together all these things are being cascaded to their people. Let me give you an instance. When we went to Jos to have the relief materials, donated to the victims of the communal clash there. One of the things that the First Lady, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Timbe, kept on harping was, I want to see those people. Don't just bring officials to receive on it. And when we got there, we saw the people that really needed it. Family heads, children, wives, you know, they were there. The traditional rulers, the religious leaders are also friends of RHI. There is no event or no program that the RHI does that these men and women are not carried along. Of course, the National Council of Women's Societies is a grassroots-oriented society. Is also with us on this. By the way, she is the national patron of that society. So all of this gets to the people. She ensures it. She wants to see them. It's not on the pages of papers that she does this. She's a woman that is grassroots oriented. Don't forget, she is a politician, a 3-time senator, so she knows how it is.
Obviously,
yes.
just hold on. Yes, just hold on, because I'm coming straight, to you. Like she said, the First Lady, according to her, does not just want to hear. She wants to see, and not just officials. She wants to ensure that the target population, is met. And, from all that we've said about the initiatives and, those, the aim and all that, those in vulnerable conditions are of priority. Women and children, girls, are of priority. And the education sector, which you talked about earlier on, is bedeviled with a lot of needs, from funding, which impacts on infrastructure, to the teachers' morale and welfare, to school enrollment that's at the primary level of it, even going to the secondary level. Then you talk about the policy somersaults. And I'm wondering, all the sponsorship, those going to Belarus, those getting the monies, who are they? How were they chosen? From where were they chosen? What schools? What are your benchmarks? Because we're celebrating today. Have we met those benchmarks?
Okay, thank you very much. At RHI, we have a very unique structure in terms of organogram. And it is specially designed to address what you just mentioned. We want our program to be sound in nature, specific, attainable, sustainable, and measurable. That is why we have that organogram. At the top, we have the national chairman, which is the First Lady, supported by the deputy national vice chairman. We have the governing council, made up of, notable Nigerians who have been assisting us. And we have the directors who also doubles and work with the governing council. We now have the zonal coordinators. We have the state coordinator. We have the local government coordinators. We have the social mobilizer, and we have the organization like National Council of Women's Society. And the idea behind that is to make it inclusive, participatory governance. We are not involved in choosing the beneficiaries. That is why we have broken it down in that way. The state coordinators, who are also the First Lady of that state, nominate this beneficiary, having gone through certain, criteria, you understand? So we don't nominate, they nominate them based on the criteria they have set, you understand? Then we also analyze and give them the benefits.
How do you analyze?
Now,
yes, because
based on what you have given to us from your state, we won't go to your state and nominate for you. We don't know what is going on in your state. You are the one in charge of your state. So we want you to give us, the names of these nominees. We will call them and interview them sometime to see, we also do our need assessment to ensure that these people really deserve, what they are, asking for. So we can't go into your state and nominate for you. We want to give you that participatory role, democratic governance to be part of what we are doing. That is why we have designed such a program to ensure that everybody is carried along. Look at all our interventions. You understand? We don't, if we are collaborating or partnering with an MDA, government agency, and you know, ministry, we don't get the money. You understand? We only act as facilitators. You understand? Between the ministry or the agency and the beneficiary. Our own is to collate based on the information we have gotten from the state, you know, to the ministry, so that the money go directly to the beneficiary.
Can I draw you a little further on this? On the needs assessment that you do, obviously, there's a structure. Yes. I mean, a very solid structure. There's no doubt about that. I've also seen the organogram, very solid structure. You do not nominate beneficiaries either for the scholarship or for the AODA NEPAD, you know, initiative, or for the other initiatives in the education sector. But when you do conduct your needs assessment, what do you find? What is the background of those you select? Or what are the backgrounds of those you select? And are you satisfied that those you have selected are actually, you know, in need of such?
Yes, very, very important. We don't do that alone. That is why we say we collaborated with the state. You know, I'm not going to go into your state and determine the vulnerable group. You are the one in that state that I can identify and push to us. Our honor is to interview them and see if actually they need that, you know, assistance they are seeking for. These are some of the ways we have done it. Our own is just to make a difference. You understand? We don't want to micromanage what is going on in your state. Ours is to make a difference. It's not about the quantum now. It's not about the size now. Just making a difference. Changing a life at a time is the focus of the First Lady, and that has been what she has been. You know, she has been doing philanthropic and elementary, you know, things before now. So she knows how to run an organization, NGO, you know, and that is the strategy we have adopted.
Any particular students, any outstanding beneficiary that you want to share with us?
Well, we have about 43 of them now. 47. You understand? For the national scholarship that we are
43 or 47?
47 of them. You understand? And you have to be in good standing. That is part of the measurement we are doing now. For them to qualify for the second tranche of that scholarship grant now, they need to send their results. You understand? We want to see your CGPA, cumulative grade point average. Not only that, you have to be in good academic standing that we must verify.
From the school.
From the school.
These
are some of the things we have done.
Some of the things that, you know,
yes, I did that personally to ensure that.
Yes, these are some of the things you need to tell us so that people know that.
Before I come to you, I just want to ask a question, because earlier on you talked about your focus on girl-child education and what about the boy-child education? Because most times we leave out the boys, and you've forgotten that these girls, they will run to these boys later, and if these boys are not properly taken care of, they become all these area boys, all these... because it's important. We should not neglect the boy-child education, because that is very, very important. And we've been hearing our girl-child education and all that.
If I may, you know, I agree with you.
Because by the time you train the girl child, it will look for the boy.
Oh my God.
Now, how do you now get the boy that is not trained? It will mistreat the girl that is trained. Anyway, that is just it. I'm just calling you. I don't know if you should...
You want him to answer that question?
Yes, I do. I have to.
Yes.
You see, it is not limited.
Because the emphasis is always the girl child.
You understand? Yes, we talk about girl child, you understand? And our focus mainly is for the family. And when you talk to family, it involves everybody. You understand? We are not focusing on the girl child alone. We also do, you know, support for young Nigerians, young men too. The last bursary award that was given to us from the Ministry of Education involves, you know, young men too. You understand? These are some of the areas we also, you know, want to carry along the boys. You understand? We realize that in places like the Southeast, what you just mentioned is playing out. We are young men are out of school. So how do we begin to identify that?
Not only in the southeast, if you go to the north, all these almajiris.
Yeah, almajiris is a special case, which is part of what we are also looking. We talked about out of school and not in school children. It's part of the pillar we are working on.
Okay.
And I told you it's a one step at a time. That is the strategy we have adopted. We want program that can be measurable and sustainable.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Miriam, let me just come to you.
And just to add again, like he said, the ratio of, boy to girl dropout in school varies. And you discover that according to the data, available data, the ratio of girls are, in a higher percentage of the dropout population. So that's why when, emphasis is
on the girl child.
Yes, on the girl child.
Yeah,
and they are more vulnerable anyway.
I know, but I'm just saying that we should not neglect the boy child as well. That's just my own.
We didn't.
Because it's important. It's vital. Anyway, let me come to Miriam. I mean, some of the programs of the initiative, Women Agricultural Support Program, which supports women farmers with training, resources, and financial assistance. How far have you gone in this?
Okay, the RHI WAPS, it's called the RHI WAPS,
yes.
Women Agricultural Support Program. The program was
because I want to find out how have you been able to empower women farmers and entrepreneurs across the country.
I'll get to that. And the program was officially launched to support women. And when we say women, I heard the question you were throwing at Honorable. When we say women, we hear the outcry of people saying gender equality. Women have been far too long marginalized, and that's why there's a yearning for special attention for women. They're vulnerable. Most children are impregnated by boys. They didn't impregnate themselves. We have women who abandon their wives. So there's several factors why we need to focus on women a lot. And when we get the home right, the children are better catered for. So I needed to set that as a basis for this conversation. So when we say we are supporting women agriculturally, supporting them economically, and when we do this, we look at both training, empowerment, and in every of our programs, we try to do funding because we need money to do a lot of things. So in this project, it was launched in February 2024, precisely in Imo State. The First Lady was in Imo State to launch that of the Southeast Zone. Okay. It was launched across the country, nationwide. And what do we do with this program? We support pre-identified women. These are farmers. And like you said, what are our needs analysis? We get to the community, find out women who are actually practicing. And that's why some of our programs, you find out that the number is it looks small, but we want it to be very impactful. Okay. We don't want to just give money to anybody to spend. So in this program, we identified 20 women farmers in each of the states. That's 20 women across the federation in each state.
In each state,
and
not local government.
Not local government, in the state, spread across. So each state, for example, Abuja has area councils. The women were spread across area councils so that we have farmers who are able to churn out produce that would have overall impact in the country. So we had 20 women farmers selected and supported with 500,000 naira each. A check of 10 million naira was handed over to their first ladies. The women were present to receive them, and they were also supported with trainings in collaboration with NAUDA. The funds were provided for by the Renewed Hope Initiative, and NAUDA supported them with training, seedlings, and pesticides. Then what are these funds for? It's not for them to spend. It's for them to support their businesses, their agricultural businesses. For example, those in animal husbandry are able to buy more livestock, poultry farming, fish farming, to plunge into their business to have better outcomes and better output for Nigerians. Okay. And this has been largely successful, and a lot of women have come back with testimonies. We've gone back to monitor and see what they've been able to do with it. And we are very encouraged, we're very inspired, and we're encouraged. The First Lady is encouraged to do more and more for the women. That's what we've been able to do with this agricultural support program. Yes. Another area of support that we did in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is to provide fertilizers, truckload of fertilizers, to farmers, particularly young female farmers and male farmers, of course, in the states of the Federation. So each state received truckload of fertilizers to boost their agricultural produce. And we see in the last couple of months, we've had some natural disasters here and there, conflicts, and just to support the process and ensure that Nigeria remains food sufficient and there's food security in line with the federal government's agenda.
I think all these are just short-term support systems.
Yes, this is...
Do you have a long-term support system to sustain you know, this initiative?
Yes, the program is just 1 year, and the pillars are there to continue to drive us towards our interventionist approach. That's the methodology. We are interventionists, we are collaborators, we are working. We can't do it alone, as the government cannot do it alone. So we're inviting more people to come on board. People are seeing what we are doing. Recently, the First Lady's visit to Onga was heard on NTA, and a lot of people are willing to partner with us. When they see what we do, they are encouraged to join us and support us further. Thank you very much.
I am eager to talk about Every Home a Garden.
Yes, please.
And it's a joker. It's a star initiative.
Yes, thank you very much.
And I would like you to clarify, because my observation from, you know, interaction is that this is for first-time women farmers. How have you been finding that? Because I've also discovered that it will be much difficult, because a lot of women have actually keyed into this initiative, and many of them are not first-time farmers. Some of them, you know, interested in farming, and when they heard of the initiative, they also started. So how do you hope to reconcile that?
I think the goal of this competition should be remembered. The goal is to ensure food sufficiency. Nigeria is more than rice. There's more to our food than rice. So it's to encourage home gardening, women to think of creative ways, what to cook in their kitchen, to ensure that there's nutritious meal, to ensure that there's a healthier nation. So that's the goal. So to have more women on board is a success. Okay. And I think that's the goal. That's the goal of our excellency. That's what it's to achieve.
It's not limited to first-time farmers.
It's open. It's to encourage. So first-time farmers are excited. Oh, how can I do this? When you see somebody growing something in a bucket, oh, this is interesting. I've seen people growing yam in sacks, and it grows. It's feeding. It's healthy, and it requires very little compost to put together. And that's what we've been able to achieve with this competition. The First Lady, Her Excellency Senator also showed the example. And that encouraged more women. They felt, oh, it's just a fluke. It's just something. It's something that is doable within a short time. She grew spinach, she grew okra, and she grew basic things within the confines of the State House without necessarily smearing the place. And we've seen other videos of women online showing, living in one-room apartment, growing something in a bucket, growing something in sacks. They're smart gardening. It depends on how buoyant you are. You could take up the smart gardening where you need technology. Yes. You could take up the one that doesn't require so much.
Another thing is the emphasis on garden. And yes. You know that to have a garden, there are certain things that you cannot plant. But a lot, yes. You know, some of these women are going beyond gardening.
They've challenged themselves.
Yes, you know, you have trees, you have yam, you have tubers,
yes.
You have all those. You know, are you also going to factor that in when you're assessing? Because so many people are eager and you know, yes.
We have a panel of adjudicators that would look at that, but it's just one person that's going to win this 20 million naira.
There's so many.
There are so many winners. There's so many winners in this. Women who are now able to put better food for their families are winners in this competition. The goal was to inspire, and that's what Her Excellency has been able to do. She has inspired more women to look at our meal beyond just rice, beyond just the staple foods and the other foods that there seem to be a rising cost around, to see better, sustainable alternatives. And I remember growing up, we used to see our parents farm a lot. Farming is indigenous to Nigeria. It's something that we used to do, but we have all left back. Everybody wants the white-collar job. Everybody wants to just be, and forgetting that without food, there's really little to what we can do as a country. So
without food, there's
do you think just getting one person? Do you think just getting one person as a winner? Do you think it's is it plausible? I mean, is it fair in the midst of numerous people that are entering into this competition, and you are only declaring one person as a winner?
Maybe we can have first, second, and third.
The strategy of the First Lady to go for the best.
Yes.
And like you rightly mentioned, this is an opportunity for the state government too to do something in their state. You understand? Okay. Although I'm sending somebody to Abuja for assessment, but in my state too, I can do some kind of...
Okay, so you didn't make it at the national level?
Yes.
I think
you have the states.
Recently, okay. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, Her Excellency was in her garden. And one of the things she said was that the states, the first ladies in the states, she has asked them to also encourage those participants at their state level, those that didn't make it to the finals, you know. And just like Mrs. Obadino has said, it is not that competition that is the target. It is the change in the mindset that all of us can indeed grow something. All of us can feed. And if you have heard the First Lady, she's saying it that all she wants is, know that you can grow something to eat and feed your neighbor. Get them something. So it's not much of what I'm planting. The fact that I now love to plant, I now want to plant, and I want to engage in agriculture. That is what she intends to achieve. Let's change the mindset. Let's go back to the farm. Let us go back to the basics.
Let's go back to the farm. Okay, fine. I think it's a good initiative. Now, I mean, it's commendable because we've left, everybody wants to do the white collar job, and that is why we are having food shortages right now. And besides the other security challenges that we have, that sending farmers away, we can do it in our backyard. Okay, also, the initiative aims to, one of the program is that it has an economic empowerment program,
Yes.
yeah, which provides financial inclusion, entrepreneurship support, and microfinance services, while the social support program supports IDPs, people with disabilities, and vulnerable families. Can you throw more light?
Okay, I'm going to just talk about the social
Yes, the social
investment,
aspect.
the social aspect. I would let Honorable talk about the economic one.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that she believes in, and
Yes.
which is one of her driving forces, is that you must be able to be your brother's keeper. And that she would always tell us that is what love is. And she's showing that by reaching out to the less privileged. Now, I talked about the Nana Berry Orphanage. Now, there is an investment program, social investment program for people with disabilities. It is called the Business Recapitalization Program for people with disabilities. Now, in each state, about 100 people with disabilities are identified by the state, and RHI gives them 100,000 naira each to recapitalize their businesses. That goes a long way. 100 people with disabilities. One, it tells them they are not left behind. It tells them that they're still in the reckoning of government. And what it tells them the most, they are loved. So that's one of the things that the social investment angle of the Renewed Hope Initiative is doing. Now, there's this program that she will be doing annually. The first was last year, December, where she reached out to the elderly, the elderly support program. Now, everybody will grow old. The Renewed Hope Initiative does not lose focus of the side that these elderly people have served in one capacity or the other. So it is time for them to reap what they have labored for. So they reach out. It was 250,000 last year, and she's been asking, what are we doing this year for them? Now, that particular elderly support program that was done in each state of the Federation, not only did those elderly get the 250,000, there was a health check program attached to it. They also got food items, various food items to support them. The widows, the vulnerable, wives of fallen heroes, they were also not left out. The Renewed Hope Initiative is reaching out to them because these are people that laid their lives down for the country. So their families are not being left out. She's putting them into reckoning. So these are some of those empowerments in the social investment sector of the Renewed Hope Initiative.
Well, to talk about the economic empowerment scheme, which has four focal areas, training, provision of grants, skill acquisition, and economic outreach program. In the area of grant, we just recently, First Lady provided 50 million to each state of the Federation, including Federal Capital Territory, you know, for the state first lady to give to, you know, 1,000 women in their state, you understand, to support their businesses. Petty trader.
Okay.
Petty trader in each state, 1,000 of them. You understand? So that is part of what he is doing to ensure that everybody is carried along. That is number one. In terms of training, we have collaborated with NIDA, National Information Technology Development Agency, to train women. We started with Abuja. 35 women were trained and given brand new laptops and startup grants to do businesses. We all understand the digital role that we are using to change the world now. So we must also allow women to be digitally ready. That is why NIDA collaborated with us to ensure that we train them in ICT training. That is number one. Number two, we have provided in collaboration with NIDA, you know, ICT Community Center. Okay. We have one in Bauchi, and we are replicating that across the 6 geopolitical zone. It's a brand new center, fully equipped with ICT materials and equipment to ensure women goes there, young men goes there to acquire digital skill. We all know that the labor market is very, you know, volatile these days, and what you need to survive is extra skill. That is the essence of these ICT centers. Aside from the ICT center, there is also digital economic center that is going to be given to the 36 states of the federation. We did six at the beginning of the year. Okay. You understand? We have identified another 10 states that will benefit from this ICT digital ICT what, how do I call it?
Community.
Economic centers.
Community centers.
Digital economic centers. That is right. Aside from that, we also identified 3 states to benefit from the ICT community centers. You know, Oyo is part of the Benue is part of it, and Kwara is part of those who benefit from this ICT community. It's a brand new, you know, completely constructed new, you know, infrastructure for ICT for women and young men to go there and learn and acquire some skill in digital enterprises.
Okay, so go ahead.
Also, we also collaborated with NIDA Technologies to train women, you know, women in technology, you know, also to assist them. And we have rightly mentioned our training is also to empower. We don't just train, we also empower them. So we have taken it across the 6 geopolitical zone. North Central is currently going on as we speak. And at the end of this program, we will bring everybody together to Abuja, you know, for more empowerment. Also, we are also collaborating with NIDA to train over 300 women across the 6 geopolitical zone in ICT training also. These are some of the things we have done.
It's good to hear all of this, but it would be much heartwarming if we can, you know, make it relatable, if the viewer, you know, can understand and follow. And that's why I'm going to ask, and I'll also ask Mrs. Obadina, because I know that RHI is also collaborating, you told us, with NALDA to empower, you know, women in agriculture with whatever it is that they require. And I'm saying, do we have figures that are relatable to show the impact that RHI is actually making on these women vis-a-vis the objectives and goals of the broader government policies in terms of poverty reduction? How much, you know, of these poverty statistics have we been able to draw down as a result of these, you know, initiatives?
I once said that the First Lady has this ideology. It's about making a difference. It is not about the quantum or the size to us now. Once you have been able to make a difference in somebody's life, you have been able to achieve your goal.
I've been able to achieve your goal. Yes. We'll take a break now. When we come back, you'll continue from where you start. Okay. We'll take a break now.
All right, welcome back. Just before we went on break, Honorable Lawiye was speaking to us on,
taking a step at a time.
Taking a step at a time.
Yeah, that's our focus. You understand? I told you it's not about the quantum, about the size. Taking a step at a time, making a difference in somebody's life is what we are focusing on. That is our objective. You understand? It's a family, it's a unit. And as such, we are focusing on one family. If you focus on this family and you are successfully being able to transform that family, don't forget, community is a summation of all families. And once you have been able to identify and transform, families in the community, you are actually transforming that society as a whole. That is our focus.
Yes, you wanted to speak to us on, your collaboration with Ministry of Agriculture, but specifically on the Young Farmers Club initiative. How much have you achieved? What are we celebrating in that area today?
Okay, we've achieved so much. Particularly, let me start with the Young Farmers Club, which was launched just last month, 17th of September, precisely. And it is a program geared towards supporting the food security drive of the country. And how do we do this if we do not carry our young people along, our young population, who are the future of Nigeria? So this competition was launched by the First Lady to catch them young, to imbibe the culture of farming from an early age. If we get it right with our children, we've gotten it right with our future. And with children, you do things in an exciting way for them, in an appealing way for them. We saw the picture and Her Excellency cladded in the beautiful uniform. We saw the children looking all sharp and excited to get to the farm. These are what we've been able to achieve with the Young Farmers Club. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security approached us when they see what we were doing with a lot of initiatives in agriculture. And they said, how could we partner with you to take this Young Farmers Club beyond just the FCT to ensure a national spread and the rollout of the program, and also ensuring institutional framework such that such a brilliant program doesn't just fizzle out with this administration. There's sustainability for it and there's improvement. And what the children were picked from, the First Lady launched this with 12 schools in the FCT. 12 schools spread across the area councils, and the military, the DPOA, and all of them had their schools also present on that day. And there were children in upper primary, that's primary 4 to 6. So that's really catching them young. The ones that can at least handle some little tools were part of the club members. And we had students from junior secondary schools. We started with public schools, because those are the largely disadvantaged ones, to show them what is possible, what they can do, and how they can also key into national agenda. They can also be patriotic citizens. The program was launched where the children were provided with implements, uniform, all sponsored by the We Need Hope initiative, by the First Lady. And they were also given handbooks to guide. So it's going to be like a social club. It is a social club, not it's going to be because it's already here. It's a social club, just like we have the Brownies, where their club activities, where their activities are guided by constitution. They have the Farmers Pledge, which they recited during, at the hall during the launch of the event. And the program has received wide acceptance across the nation. We have Lagos State has inaugurated their Farmers Club, I think about maybe a couple of weeks ago, and we are looking to see more states. It's already launched in the FCC. The children are excited. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security will be supporting them with funding and training activities that we'll see in the course of the year. We'll see a lot of activities coming up with these children, but the most important thing is that they're excited to be part of it. They're excited. You know, our children, when they see, for younger children, they see growing, when crops grow, they see it as magic. Yeah. So they are really excited. And to have this as a social club, I think it's a very brilliant idea from the First Lady. And that's where our lenses as a teacher comes in, because she loves to do things right. And we are very proud of this Young Farmers Club.
No, actually, I was going to ask again, sorry, yes, because I remember when we were in school, I went to Mayflower School in Ikene, and we had societies, a lot of agricultural activities there. I don't know whether, you know, this initiative is collaborating with schools, because I remember that you talked about institutions, yes, because there is need for the initiative to collaborate with the Federal Ministry of Education to promote agriculture, even as a subject in, yes, school, because this will further, you know, help to develop the, what is it called now? The students, the young pupils, they are encouraged to go into agriculture. But Busola, let me ask you, what exactly is driving the First Lady in this initiative? What exactly is pushing her? What is the, what exactly?
This is a woman that loves God. And she wants to do everything that God asks that should be done. So for her, her driving force, her air that she breathes, everything is about God. She wakes up, she's telling you about God. She wants to read her Bible, she wants to pray, she wants to talk to you, she wants to see you live right. And by living right, she wants to see you do right. It's something that she says, it's like a sing-song. We have to live right. So all these things that she's doing, as far as she's concerned, and from what we too have seen, it is obeying the dictates of God. She wants the Bible says the poor will always be among you. So what is her own point? She wants to make the life of those people more bearable, more tolerable, and more comfortable. As well, she's a teacher. This woman is a lifelong teacher, as far as I'm concerned. So she wants to impact. She wants to impact knowledge, she wants to impact understanding, and she wants to impact goodness. And that's what teaching is all about. She wants to pour out herself. We were in Ife recently, and when it was time to take pictures, or rather, when somebody was going, some students, the student union, they were going to give her a gift, and the boy came up and said, "Good afternoon, everyone." And she said, "No, in the Department of Education, that's not what we teach you. You recognize the people that are here. Kabisi, Your Excellency,
Of course.
my colleagues, fellow students, good afternoon." And the boy, the whole went, he's a teacher. So she wants to pour out something good. She wants to impact you positively. And that's what her driving force is. And lastly, she is the wife of Mr. President. She is the First Lady. That office is complimentary. She will tell you that she is there to support her husband. So everything that she's doing is to support the president and all that the president is doing.
Absolutely. Of course, they say behind every successful man, there's always a woman. But I have said that needs to change now.
We should tweak it a little
yes,
bit.
That needs
but I
to
was
be,
going to say something about Demola when he talked about the boy child.
Yes.
Once you impact a woman, you have impacted her children, the boy child inclusive.
You see,
so by reaching out to the women, the First Lady is reaching out to the boy child. Because the mother that feeds her son very well, the boy is healthy, he won't go and steal from another man's farm. And she's,
this is debatable. Don't let's go into it. So
I will give you statistics when I finish my question.
Don't give me statistics.
No, I will. I will give you UNICEF statistics.
We can debate it, and it will distract.
All right. So you referenced Ife, and that triggered my next question. Yes, we watched the event in Ile-Ife, and of course when the First Lady made her donation. There was conversation where I was, and people, where did she get the money from? After all, the office of the First Lady, it's not constitutional and all that. Yes, it's complementary. Of course, it has to support the husband and all that. So I'm just wondering, how are you sourcing your funds?
Thank you very much. He has this philosophy that if you spend the little you have, God will certainly bring more for you, and that has been working for her. You understand? We reach out to, well-meaning Nigerians. Some come on their own volition to come and support us, having seen what we are doing, seeing the program we are doing. They came on their own to support us, willing, ready to support the program we are doing. That has been the major source of our resources.
Okay, contributions.
Nothing is coming from the government. We don't have a budget line. You understand? It is through, circle of friends, that have been
and
supportive and collaborative efforts and things like that. Those have been the sources of our funding.
And of course, the Renewed Hope Initiative has a board of trustees.
Board of trustees,
and
made up of well-meaning Nigerians.
Men of means, and very high, men of high integrity, because that's one of her driving forces.
Men and women.
Are there,
Are
there policy recommendations to further drive the goals of the initiative?
Policy recommendations from her to government. One of the policy recommendations that you might be looking at is partnering with federal ministries, departments and agencies for sustainability, continuity, and indeed having the programs being formidable. So those are the things that I will say will be tilting in line of policy recommendations.
I was wondering also that recently the First Lady, of course, also launched the birth registration, initiative to encourage, families to register, the babies at birth. How's that going?
It's going very well. It's a program that the Renewed Hope Initiative partnered with UNICEF, National Population Commission, and NIMSI. It's to further drive. Now, Nigeria has had it. If you remember, Mr. President did launch the e-registration some time ago. That was last year. This is to further drive government. Like I said, RHI is complementary to all that government is doing. So it's to further drive it, and it has cascaded. Like you were told by Honorable Alawi King, this structure does not sit pretty in Abuja. It goes to the states and by extension the local governments. So everything she does, she brings in the zonal coordinators and state coordinators of RHI, who are the wives of the state governors. Now, okay, take this to your states and let us have it replicated. Let us drive it. I'm sure very shortly you will see those billboards around the Federal Capital Territory and in some other states calling for people to please ensure that they register their children at birth so that they have a national identity. One of the good things that NIMSI has done is also to ensure that they have a NIN at birth.
Okay.
So sorry, is there any particular reason driving the choice of these 5 key areas? That's health, agriculture, social investment, and empowerment. Is there any particular reason? Because couldn't have the First Lady probably decided or chosen, say, okay, let me do agriculture, let me do health, let me do education, let me do empowerment, and then stay on to it. But here we are, doing fine. Health itself is very broad. Yeah. Education is very broad.
The truth be told, those are the 5 things that make man man.
Not only that, they are in line with the Sustainable Development Goals.
All right.
And the policy of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay, let's look at some of the significant challenges, being faced by this initiative and how they are being addressed. Can you tell us some of these challenges and how they are being addressed?
First, like they mentioned Sustainable Development Goal. For example, we are here, there's a lot of challenge in Nigeria, people talking about food insecurity. The First Lady started this by launching the Every Home Garden, which is to ensure food on every table. She's done the Young Farmers Club with the motto, growing the food I eat starts with me. And to quickly respond to your question on how do we get schools involved, the structure of the Young Farmers Club is to have the teachers in their school be the club supervisors. The schools that we selected in the FCT was done in collaboration with the UBEB, State Universal Basic Education Board, and that's the model across the states. The SUBEBs are involved, the Ministry of Education is involved in helping identify the schools. Ministry of Agriculture is there to take up their registration. Even the First Lady's office, First Ladies of States and RHI coordinators are also informed of all this registration to ensure that these programs are sustainable, they are well implemented. Implementation is very, very key for us, and that's why we are not just doing this alone. We are coming up with collaborators, interventionists, and we also try to like she mentioned, Ms. Ukwayi mentioned that we ensure that these people are people that are known. We see a lot of programs where there are ghost people, where names are just fed. With our program, we can say credibly, people are well identified, they are scrutinized. For example, the Belarusian students, the scholarship that we had, the Auda Nepad scholarship that we also had as well, were students that were selected from the state, they were screened, they had verifiable results, there were people who were interested in learning an alternative language. So these were some of the screening that we did. Auda Nepad supported us with screening 2,000 applications across the country. So it's not just some shallow arrangement, it's well thought out, well planned, and well executed. Thank you very much.
Okay, I wanted to ask, I really don't know how to start it now. But if we look at this initiative and all that it has achieved, the RHI is duly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission.
Yes, very registered.
And is there any implication why that is so?
It's to give it a corporate identity. It's not just, it's an organization that is credible. We're working with international partners. They want to ensure that you're accountable. We do our annual reports. There's an annual report of all our spendings. Everything that we do is well recorded, well documented. So you want to work with someone with a corporate identity that is duly registered under the laws of Nigeria.
Is there any plan to take it to other countries as well? Encourage other first ladies, because we've had other first ladies visit Nigeria and they've had meetings. Do you have plans?
Well, every other first lady has their own program.
Okay. Now, so let me ask you, because we are about rounding up. It's 1 year. We are celebrating. We are marking it. What do we expect in the next?
So much.
Year? Let's have a peep into it. Expect more.
That is that is what I'm going to do. Expect more from the Renewable Initiative. We have so many programs in place based on our scope. If you look at the thematic areas, we have not finished all the focal area. We need to complete all the focal area.
I will ask you, and then before, I know you want to take. There's so much that the girl child is going through at the moment. Violence, harassment, rape, trafficking, drug, and all of those. Efforts to get the Gender Acts, yes, passed at the National Assembly has not been successful. Unfortunately, it didn't pass when the First Lady was at the National Assembly. Is Madame doing anything about that?
On the
social investment, yes, we are. Well, she is doing a lot about that, and she's unequivocal. She's even taking the fight to the states. That First Ladies at the state level, let's get involved in all of this and get it out. It's not just at the federal level that it should, because the perpetrators are not at the federal, they are the grassroots. So let us go there, and that's what she's doing. Now, on the legislative aspect, she's out of the Senate now. Of course, she still has her colleagues there, and of course, she will make advocacy towards that, and that's all that she can do, because she's not there now to push it as a legislature, but advocacy will come.
Yes, I quite agree that she's not at the, but she can. She's her office is powerful, and
that was why she called on the leadership of the National Assembly during the program we had on sexual abuse and all that. Called on the leadership of these stiffer laws, and
that's the advocacy that we're talking about.
That we talked about, you understand? So she continued to advocate
for it.
We also encourage state to also do something about it, and I believe they are doing something.
Yes. So how are we celebrating this 1 year?
Okay, we have some other programs coming up. Like you said, what do we have coming up?
Yeah.
We have training for frontline healthcare workers across the nation. Midwives will be trained, provided with tools. So these are some of the things we should look up to. Currently we have over 60,000 scrubs in the pipeline, uniforms for them, and so many other things that is coming up in collaboration with the Primary Healthcare Development Agency. And we're also going to be seeing collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture for training and empowerment program for young women farmers and, of course, male farmers, but we would give some more percentage to women. We've been marginalized for too long.
Please, you have to say something about every home and garden because every woman is watching this
yes,
program. Final word.
Yeah,
before,
final word to women watching now. I want to encourage you to participate in the First Ladies Initiative, Every Home and Garden, which is essentially to provide nutritious meal, food on every table. Everybody deserves to eat and be well fed, and I urge everyone to key into this program. Another thing I wanted to mention is the Renewed Hope Initiative is a philanthropic organization. No individual should be persuaded to pay any amount to any individual to take advantage of all of these initiatives. Therefore,
it is free.
It is free. There's no fee. There's no registration required. All communications will be sent through official channels and will be scrolled in newspapers and online as well. So please be wary of criminal elements who may want to take advantage of all of the wonderful initiatives of the First Lady to exploit Nigeria.
Please, what's the star prize for every
The star prize for every Home Garden is 20 million naira. But the star prize for every individual is to participate and get their families on board.
All right, thank you so much for that. 20 million naira for the number one, the best.
Maybe Demola will start
the best
every man a garden.
Every time, yes.
Yes, maybe next year we should consider men too. Thank you so much, Miriam Obadina, Senior Special Assistant Legal to the President, Office of the First Lady. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very
And
much.
also, I want to thank Honorable Wahab Alawiye King, also Senior Special Assistant to the President on Policy and Strategy, Office of the First Lady.
Thank you for having me.
And also my very good friend, Busola Kukoye, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media, Office of the First Lady. Busola.
Thank you, Demola. Thank you, Claire.
Well, that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thanks for watching. Do have a fabulous day.
I am Claire Adelabu Abdul Razak, and he's Ademola Adeoye. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for introducing.